Intense thunderstorms are coming to the United States over the next few days, and they will produce severe weather. And that severe weather will be in the form of damaging winds, large to very large hail, and tornadoes, along with torrential heavy downpours, which could cause localized flash flooding. We're also going to talk about a major heat wave that continues to hold a grip across the desert Southwest and the southern U.S., and the tropical weather update at the end of this video. So if you are here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We do daily weather forecast breakdowns that are accurate and reliable on this channel. Like the video, give it a thumbs up, and share it with a friend, family member, or on social media. I definitely appreciate it. Today's severe weather forecast is a slight risk across western Iowa, east central Nebraska, down into Kansas, where a scattered threat for severe weather will be. In the dark green is a marginal risk of up into the Dakotas, northwest Minnesota, stretching all the way down into eastern Colorado, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Texas panhandles, also across portions of eastern Ohio, stretching up into Maine, and then from Virginia all the way down into Georgia. In the dark green, that is a marginal risk where isolated strong to severe thunderstorms will be possible through today. The main threats here are going to be for damaging straight line winds, and those wind gusts here outlined in black from Omaha, stretching through Lincoln, down here into northwestern Kansas near Dodge City, and all the way back into southeastern Colorado. That's where wind gusts could exceed 75 miles per hour with a few thunderstorms. That could cause widespread wind damage, down trees, down tree branches, power lines, power poles, stuff like that. And then we also have the threat for some quarter-size hail, with maybe some enhancement to some of that hail in and around the Lincoln, Nebraska area, Omaha stretching toward Des Moines, where hailstones could actually be up to golf ball size perhaps in a few of those strongest storms. And then a tornado threat. It's not a good tornado threat, but it is still a threat nonetheless. 2% chance of tornadoes across much of the state of Iowa, including Des Moines, Waterloo, over there towards Cedar Rapids and Iowa City, stretching up into portions of southern and southeastern Minnesota near Rochester, La Crosse down to Prairie du Chien and Madison, Wisconsin, Rockford, Illinois, and then stretching back into eastern portions of Nebraska into the Lincoln area and Omaha as well. So looking here at this afternoon, this is mid-afternoon forecast for your storm energy, and we see that over 3,000 joules per kilogram up here across the north central plains and into parts of the Midwest, for example, into Iowa, and that will be enough to get those storms to become severe rather quickly into the afternoon. So here at noon, a thunderstorm or two into Nebraska that will continue eastward. It will be on a weakening trend as it approaches western Iowa. As we go into the mid-afternoon, between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time, we're going to see some isolated supercells developing back here from northwestern Iowa into central and eastern Nebraska, down into western Kansas and eastern Colorado. These could pose a risk initially for some large hail, up to golf ball size, and then eventually as they cluster up, we could start to see that wind threat increase, where winds exceeding 75 miles per hour will be possible, wind damage will be possible, and embedded tornadoes with these storms as well as this evolves. And then eventually overnight, the severe weather threat will wane across the portions of Iowa into southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois, but a boundary setting up across that region will promise some torrential downpours and some very heavy rainfall, and this could lead to some flash flooding in localized spots, including the Chicagoland area, Rockford, Milwaukee, stretching back toward Des Moines, Waterloo, Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, and Davenport. You guys are all in play for that, and you can see the rainfall totals along that boundary could be anywhere from 1 to as much as 3+ inches, stretching from the Milwaukee region, the Chicago metropolitan area into Rockford, Cedar Rapids over there in toward Iowa City, and even into the Des Moines region, Omaha, Waterloo, and Davenport. You guys all are in play for the potential of flash flooding as we go through the wee hours of the morning there on Friday. Across the eastern U.S. today, not as high of storm energy as we saw in the past couple of days, but we're still seeing 1,000 to 2,000 joules per kilogram of instability. That will be enough to get some isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms to become severe, with mainly a damaging wind threat with some hail and a very low tornado risk, especially across Virginia, the Carolinas, and into Georgia as we go into the afternoon. Around mid-afternoon, again between between about 2 and 4 o'clock, and then going into the evening hours. Once we start to lose the daytime heating after the sun sets, the instability will start to wane and the storm coverage and intensity will start to wane and follow suit. And you can see here the rainfall coverage is going to be pretty scattered across the southeast. Not everybody will see a storm here, but if you do get under one of those storms, say in the Raleigh area, Durham, down here into Wilmington and Norfolk, Columbia, Myrtle Beach, Charleston, and Savannah, up here toward Atlanta, you could be seeing potentially an inch or two of rain, where other areas may barely get any rain at all as we go through the Friday morning time frame. Now, going into Friday tomorrow, July 11th, slight risk of severe weather stretching from northern Illinois into southern and southeastern Iowa, northern Missouri, southeastern Nebraska, and northeast Kansas, or from Kansas City to Des Moines to Rockford, all the way back here through Kirksville, Missouri, and the Davenport Quad Cities region. That's where we have scattered severe thunderstorms possible on Friday. Outside of that, in the dark green, anywhere from the plains up into the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, Northeast, or Mid-Atlantic states, that's where isolated severe thunderstorms will be possible there in dark green. Again, tomorrow, the main threats will be damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour, especially into northern Illinois, Iowa, northern Missouri, back into Kansas. And then hail could be exceeding quarter size at times, up to golf ball size in that area as well. And then a low but non-zero tornado risk again in green. That's a 2% chance of tornadoes within a 25-mile radius of any given point in or around this area, including near the Des Moines area, Davenport, Quad Cities, down here toward Quincy, and then getting into the Kirksville area and into Kansas City and near Omaha as well. We'll be keeping a very close eye on that. So Friday morning, we have a messy storm mode here across the Midwest, where we could have some heavier downpours, some lightning, maybe some smaller hail with the stronger storms that are moving through across Lake Michigan there into the state of Michigan. That will be on a weakening trend. So as these storms approach Grand Rapids, Traverse City, and Detroit, into areas there of Lansing, for example, they'll be on a weakening trend by mid to late morning. As we go into the midday hours, we're going to see a boundary setting up to the west of the Mississippi River. That will be an initiation point along with some outflow boundaries from tonight's storms that will give us the potential for severe weather as we go from northern Illinois into Iowa, northern Missouri, and then stretching back there toward the Kansas City area and into northeast Kansas going into the afternoon hours. Damaging winds and hail will be the main threat, but a few tornadoes will be possible along with torrential downpours again, as these storms will be very efficient rainfall producers, so localized flash flooding will be possible. And you can see that including again the Chicago metropolitan area, Milwaukee, Rockford, Peoria, stretching down toward Quincy, Kirksville, Missouri, the Davenport Quad Cities, and then back toward Kansas City. We'll be keeping an eye on that as we go from Friday into Saturday. Now, going into Saturday, July 12th, we have a marginal threat for severe weather across the Great Lakes, including the Green Bay area, Chicago, Milwaukee, Traverse City and Marquette, down there in towards Detroit, Fort Wayne, and Toledo, where isolated severe thunderstorms will be possible. And then another area of a marginal risk where isolated severe storms possible there from southern Colorado into New Mexico near Albuquerque into the Oklahoma, Texas panhandles, including Amarillo, Lubbock, and Midland, over here toward Wichita Falls. Again, this is west of the Dallas-Fort Worth area there on Saturday. Saturday morning, again, residual outflow boundaries from Friday's storms will continue to dictate the weather pattern as we go into Saturday. It looks like some stronger storms possible there into Michigan, into northern Indiana, northwest Ohio, and up there into the UP of Michigan as well. And then another threat down here from Colorado into eastern New Mexico, into Oklahoma, Kansas, and Texas, especially northwest Texas, going through the evening there on Saturday. Those storms will wash out as we go into early Sunday morning. Let's look at our jet stream, the upper level flow here, and you can see as we go through the weekend, not really much happening, especially by Sunday. Stronger disturbance moving across the flow in southern Canada by early next week. That will drop down into the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes by the middle of next week, bringing an enhancement to our severe weather along the cold front. You can see by Sunday, a lot of that storm energy into the Midwest, Great Lakes, and Ohio Valley is scoured out with the presence of some cool air aloft. And then as we go into the early middle portion of next week, another front will come through And ahead of that, we're going to see warming temperatures, dew points and moisture will be rising, and instability will be rising as well, and that could give us more severe weather. So here as we go into Saturday, notice again, talking Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, isolated severe storms, and then that northwest flow from Colorado into Texas as well. Sunday, severe weather will be isolated again, mainly from the northeast into the mid-Atlantic states and eastern Ohio Valley, maybe a couple of rogue severe thunderstorms down there in the southern plains into Dixie Alley. Quiet for Sunday across the upper Midwest as a high pressure system works in across the Rockies into the north central plains. Going into early next week on Monday, July 14th, here comes that disturbance. Southern Canada first getting the chance for some severe weather on Monday. Tuesday, severe weather returns across areas of the Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa, and Nebraska, down into Kansas and Missouri, where we could see some damaging winds, large hail, and a couple tornadoes with those storms on Tuesday. And then by the middle of next week on Wednesday, that drops down into areas of Iowa, Wisconsin, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan. And then by Thursday, the 17th, that will just continue to move its way eastward into the Ohio Valley, Northeast, and the eastern seaboard. And looking here at our temperatures as we go through this afternoon, again, extreme heat down here in the desert Southwest as a major heat wave has its grip on the Southwest United States. 113 there in Phoenix, hundreds in the central and southern plains today. Make sure you're staying hydrated if you venture outdoors, especially if your job takes you outdoors as well. And then up into the upper Midwest by tomorrow, behind that frontal system, we're going to see 70s and 80s with lower humidity. That'll continue into the weekend, but by Sunday, we start to warm right back up there into the northern plains and upper Midwest, back into the 80s and 90s. And then as we go into early next week, ahead of that front, again, we're going to see more 80s and 90s and higher humidity. Behind the front, by the middle of next week, a week from today or so, we're going to start to see more 70s, even upper 60s for highs with much lower humidity. So a much stronger cold front later next week. Let's look here at your fire weather risk for today on Thursday, July 10th. Elevated fire weather concerns in orange across the Four Corners region. We're talking southeastern Utah, southwestern Colorado, much of north central Arizona and northwest New Mexico, including areas near Tucson, Flagstaff, up there and towards the Denver area. Be keeping a very close eye on that. Looking here at your tropical weather update, the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida is not expecting any tropical cyclones anytime soon. In fact, over the next 7 days, the Atlantic Basin is quiet, including the Caribbean and the Gulf, and the East Pacific, that's been very active so far this hurricane season, is taking a bit of a respite as well, with over the next 7 days, nothing expected to happen in the East Pacific Basin as well. Thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy my forecast, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more. Turn on post notification bell so you're notified for future videos and live streams we do on the channel. Like the video, share it with a friend, family member, and on social media. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, make sure to jot that down in the comment section down below this video. We are here all day, all night, 24/7 to answer any and all questions that you may have. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thank you for all your support, and I'll see you all in the next video.